Finally, it's time to do another Gen 2 video after like 2.5 months, I think. If you're familiar with my channel, then you know that I've been doing a series where I play every generation of Pokemon with all of Ash's teams. In this video, I'm going to be beating Pokemon Gold with only Ash's Johto team. So while his other two teams I've done so far have had some compliments to give, unfortunately here, there's nothing really good at all. This might be his worst team power-wise ever. We have Pikachu, of course, but then we have Cyndaquil, Totodile, Bayleaf, Noctowl, and Phanpy. Oh god, this is going to be a rough challenge, and I know that Cyndaquil and Phanpy evolved later on, but it was after the Johto series, so I'm not counting it. Of course, as always, if you enjoy this type of content, consider subscribing. Alright, let's do this. So there really isn't much to say during the early game. I mean, even our rival, with his grass type who resists me, is still a piece of cake. Once I get Pokeballs, I'm finally able to get some team members. Of course, you can't get starters normally, so I once again used my super cool hacking skills to change the encounters. Not gonna lie though, this took way too long. The starter catch rates are strangely low. Maybe I should have modified that too. After training the team up in Sprout Tower, it's time to fight Falconer. Well, I ended up only needing Pikachu. Yeah, I don't know why he's so strangely underleveled. He also didn't go for Mud Slap on the one turn he could. I think this guy might need to step down as a gym leader. After some uneventful exploring, it's time to fight Bugsy, but again, he's a complete joke. My Cyndaquil was underleveled and I still won easily. Like, why does he have 2 Gen 1 cocoons? Was Game Freak ashamed of the Gen 2 Pokemon or something? Right after that is Rival 2, and he was actually kind of difficult since I'm underleveled. Cyndaquil takes out Ghastly just fine, but I get paralyzed. For Zubat, I switch to Hoothoot to use Swift a few times, but I deal surprisingly low damage. I mean, even without Reflect, my Peck would still be doing not much to Bayleaf. So I just use Mud Slap once, then send out Cyndaquil to chip it down more, then I finish it off with Pikachu. Honestly, I probably should have healed before. Anyway, now that I'm near Goldenrod, I can catch Totodile. Again, I can't evolve it, so it's still gonna be pretty bad, but it does have some decent type coverage, so it'll probably be good. Well, compared to the rest of my team. Once I get to Goldenrod, I do the first thing I always do in Gen 2 playthroughs. Go to the top of the department store and buy the elemental punches. It's so nice that you're suddenly given these great moves early on. Pikachu and Totodile definitely need these. Alright, let's see if I can beat Whitney now. Well, I tried Whitney, but I think I'm just too underleveled. My plan was to save Bayleaf for Miltank to set up Reflect, then poison her, but in Gen 2, Poison doesn't activate if you one-shot the opponent, so she was hardly ever getting poisoned. Okay, well, I'll get everyone to level 20 when Hoothoot evolves. While grinding, the egg hatches. I wonder what it could be. Oh my god, it's a subscribe button. Huh, this must mean something. Maybe you should click it. I try Whitney again at level 20 and this time it goes much better. I did the same strategy as last time, but she missed a rollout on the second turn, so I took her out easily. Well, it would have been nice if she missed last time. Once I get to Ecruteak City, I go to Route 42 to catch a Phanpy, my last team member. It's not really great at all for a while. Actually, it's gonna be pretty terrible until I can get the TM for Earthquake, because it can't learn any ground moves by level up. It can't even learn Dig by TM. Whose idea was that? Okay, time for Rival 3. I lead with Pikachu and take Contra out with 2 Thunder Punches. Second is Magnemite, so I switch to Cyndaquil and actually almost lose since I got confused. Third is Zubat, so I switch to Pikachu to take it out, and then for his Bayleaf, I just spam Tail Whip, then let Noctowl finish the fight. Next is Morty, but he was really easy. His Haunter and Ghastly didn't really do much to me, and then for Gengar, I got a crit Thunderbolt to bring him to half health, then finished him off with Totodile. His last Haunter was also a pushover as he just used Mean Look. Why would I switch when I have a dark type move? Alright, so while I'm grinding in the lighthouse, I guess I should talk about how I'm feeling about the team. So I'm not too worried about Chuck. His Primate might be a bit annoying, but I think Noctowl should hopefully be strong enough to take it out. Well, it does have a base 50 attack, so maybe not. And then his Poliwrath should be easy with Bayleaf's Razor Leaves. What I'm really worried about though is Jasmine. Her Magnemite shouldn't be a problem, but I think I'll need to just spam Mud Slap for Steelix to be able to survive any of its hits at all. God, this team is so weak. Like, seriously. My strongest member, Noctowl, struggles to one-shot level 15 Pidgeys. How did this guy even make it to the league? Oh yeah, well, plot armor. Well, Chuck ended up being easier than the trainers in his gym. That was a nice and easy win. Well, what I really care about more is that I get the HM for Fly after beating him, not only letting me travel anywhere, but also finally giving Noctowl a decent flying attack, because guess what? Noctowl can't learn Wing Attack even though it has wings. I can see why people don't really care about Noctowl. Well, the Jasmine fight went off to a great start. I didn't one-shot Magnemite with Dig, and then she one-shot Cyndaquil. Awesome. Well, Totodile luckily manages to one-shot both Magnemites due to a lucky crit, so we're at Steelix. Surf does quite a bit as she sets up the sun, so all I can really do is spam Surf until I go down. When I faint, Steelix is low, so I let Bayleaf finish it off with a crit Razor Leaf. I think I'll need to level up some more, so I'm gonna skip the Rocket Hideout portion of the game since nothing really interesting happened. I mean, they have level 17 Zubats, and we're at the 7th gym. Man, Gen 2 is just something else. After defeating a million Zubats and Rattatas, we're at Price. His Seal was obviously a one-shot with Pikachu, but for Piloswine, I missed Iron Tail the first time, so I ended up going down. I put it to sleep, then took it out with a crit Razor Leaf from Bayleaf. Last is Dugong, but I outspeed, and his Aurora Beam is doing about the same as my Razor Leaf, so I win. Again, I'm gonna skip this part of the game since it's just me battling a ton of grunts with low-leveled Pokemon. I mean, just look how easy the final executive was. I didn't even have a fully healed team. Yeah, there are really just a bunch of bowling pins in this game. Well, Claire was a really scary fight, and I was expecting that. Totodile managed to take out her first Dragonair with a good range, but then her second Dragonair took me out with Thunderbolt. I switched to Bayleaf and deals some damage, but it also goes down. Wait, I might actually lose this. I have some more terrible luck with Pikachu because of course I do, so I decided to finish it off with Cyndaquil. Third is Kingdra, but I only have Noctowl and Phanpy left. She starts doing her favorite tactic, spamming Smokescreen, so I decide to also play Scummy and spam Mudslap and Hypnosis. I switch to Phanpy, use Defense Curl, and use a rollout to take it out. Last is her third Dragonair, but Phanpy faints. I again use Hypnosis and Mudslap, and thankfully it stays asleep, so I win. I'm surprised I actually pulled that off. Well, after a lot of grinding, it's time to fight a rival for the last time in Victory Road. He leads with Sneasel, and I surprisingly hit with Iron Tail this time. Next is Magneton, so I switch to Phanpy, who finally is useful thanks to Earthquake. Third is Meganium, so I switch to Cyndaquil to get in the Flame Wheel, but I go down. I finish it off with Noctowl. Fourth is Golbat, so I switch to Pikachu and take it out, but it takes 2 hits. That's a bit concerning. I again don't one-shot Haunter, so I have to finish it off with Phanpy. I don't think we're ready yet. Seeing how that fight went and how little damage I was doing, I decided to spend the rest of the day grinding in Victory Road, which wasn't actually too bad since they're mostly rock and ground types. Here are the final stats. Honestly, I don't know if I can do this at this low of a level, but then again, the Johto Elite Four are a lot easier than Kanto's. Let's see how we do. First is Will. I lead with Pikachu and I actually one-shot it with Thunderbolt. Nice. Second is Jinx, but one Iron Tail takes it out. Third is Executor, so I switch to Cyndaquil, but I don't one-shot it and its Psychic does a lot of damage. I finish it with Noctowl, and fourth is Slowbro. I put it to sleep, then take it out with Pikachu. Last is the second Xatu, but Thunderbolt doesn't one-shot it and he confuses me. Of course, with my luck I end up fainting, so I just finish the fight with Phanpy. Second is Koga. I lead with Cyndaquil and just barely don't one-shot his Ariados. I take it out soon after though, and second is Forretress, but it's 4 times weak to fire, so it's an easy one-shot. Third is Muk, so I try going for Dig, but it doesn't really do much, so I try using Leer, but it just fails. I switch to Phanpy and surprisingly take it out with Earthquake in 1 hit. Next is Venomoth, so I try using Rollout, but I go down after just 2 turns. I finish it with Noctowl, and last is Crobat. I do a bit of damage with Noctowl before going down, and then I just send out Pikachu to finish the fight. Third is Bruno, but I expected this fight to be easy. I take out Hitmontop with 3 confusions from Noctowl after putting it to sleep, then switch to Totodile for Onix. It sets up Sandstorm before fainting, which is pretty annoying. Third is Hitmonchan, so I go down, then use Fly to take it out. Fourth is Machamp, but thankfully I hit Hypnosis the first turn, then get a crit Confusion to bring him close to red health, then as he wakes up I finish him with Fly. Last is Hitmonlee, but it has bad physical defense, so 1 Fly takes it out. Fourth is Karen, and this battle easily could have gone either way. I whittle Umbreon down slowly with Earthquake as she uses Feint Attack. Next is Vileplume, so I let her finish me, then use Fly with Noctowl to 2-shot it. Third is Gengar, so I switch to Cyndaquil as she goes for Curse. Dig unfortunately doesn't take her out, but I do take her out the next turn since she just uses a Lick. Fourth is Murkrow, so I sacrifice Cyndaquil so that Pikachu can safely one-shot it with Thunderbolt, and last is Houndoom. I paralyze it, go down, then take it out with 2 Surfs. This thing's crunches and flamethrowers are scary, so if I didn't paralyze it, we would have had a huge problem. Okay, so this is how the first Lance fight went. Thunderbolt doesn't one-shot Gyarados, which is really bad. Then I have to deal with 3 Dragonites with only one of my members being able to learn ice moves. Unfortunately, Totodile just isn't fast enough to outspeed, so I take big damage from each of them. Honestly, the only reason I even got this far in this attempt was because his first Dragonite missed Thunder twice. Well, we might have a small problem here. I come back, this time a bit higher leveled. I grabbed Hidden Power and found out that Bayleaf has Dragon-type Hidden Power, which might be a little useful. Well, this time I do one-shot Gyarados, which is good, so I paralyze his first Dragonite, then take it out with Ice Punch. I unfortunately take big damage from his second one before taking it out. For his third one, I use Cyndaquil to chip him down a little, then he uses Hyper Beam, so I get the free turn to take him out with Ice Punch. But then he sends out Charizard, and well, I can't really do anything. Like, how am I supposed to take out 3 Dragonites, an Aerodactyl, and a Charizard with just Totodile? Well, I think I have an idea. I'm gonna level up just Bayleaf and Totodile so Bayleaf can set up Light Screen and Reflect for Totodile. Yeah, this sucks. I didn't think that I'd be having an easy time the entire run, and then suddenly the end is just a brick wall. Thankfully, Bayleaf and Totodile can one-shot most things here, so it's not the worst. I'm just hoping this works because I'm really not enjoying this grind. Okay, I got Bayleaf and Totodile to the mid-50s. The start goes as usual. I one-shot Gyarados, then paralyze Dragonite, and then I use Ice Punch and take it out in one hit. Nice. But can I one-shot the second? Well, he misses Thunder Wave miraculously, and I do one shot. For his third Dragonite, I know he's going to use Outrage, and I need Totodile for Charizard and Aerodactyl, so I waste a few turns, then slowly chip him down with Noctowl. Now for Aerodactyl, I switch to Bayleaf to set up Reflect so that he can hardly do anything, and now I can one-shot both his Aerodactyl and Charizard. So, there we go. I beaten the champion and won the challenge, but you already know this is Gen 2, and what is Gen 2 without going through Kanto? Well, a very hollow game. But most importantly, we have 2 more difficult fights we have to try, Blue and Red. So let's see how they go. Alright, Blue. He leads with Pidgeot, so I use Pikachu. He does a lot with Quick Attack though, so by the time I take him out, I'm low. Second is Rhydon, so I just use Bayleaf's Razor Leaf to one-shot it. Third is Executor, so I set up Light Screen, then switch to Cyndaquil. He goes for Egg Bomb though, which is physical, dealing a lot of damage. Thankfully, he misses the second turn, so I do take it out without fainting. Fourth is Gyarados, so I sack Cyndaquil, then use Thunderbolt, which doesn't one-shot it, but he just spams full restores, so eventually I do take him out. Fifth is Alakazam, so I use Iron Tail and actually get the defense drop, so now it's an easy KO with a few takedowns from Noctowl. Last is Arcanine, but I just put him to sleep, switch to Totodile, and then use 2 Surfs to take him out. Well, that was surprisingly easier than I thought it would be. So we all know that Red isn't happening at this low of a level, but we also know that grinding this late in the game is excruciating, especially when you have a full team. Well, normally I just suck it up and grind off of the Elite Four, but unlike the 2 other Gen 2 videos I've done, this isn't a solo run. I have a full team of 6, so yeah, normally the grind for Red takes about 5 hours in a solo playthrough, so it would take about 30 in this video. So for my sanity and for you guys to actually get a video, I'm gonna use rare candies. Yeah, you can start writing your hate essays in the comments now, but don't worry, I still did not have a fun time mashing A and then B over and over again, and sometimes I accidentally evolved some of my members, so I had to reset the game. That alone was an entire process. I try Red at level 70 and, well, it doesn't go well at all. I barely make it past Espeon. Well, I'll level up the team to level 75 and see how it goes. I try again at level 75. This time Pikachu doesn't go for Charm, so once I take it out, I can get in an Earthquake on Venusaur since it only uses Solar Beam. I switch to Noctowl to tank the hit, then put it to sleep and take it out with Dream Eater. Third is Blastoise, so I use Hypnosis, although it misses quite a bit, and eventually I put him to sleep. I switch to Pikachu, and he thankfully never wakes up even after 3 turns, so I take it out with full health. Fourth is Espeon, so I paralyze it. It luckily gets fully paralyzed, letting me get in a free Iron Tail before fainting. I switch to Bayleaf to set up Light Screen, then use Bandpiece Earthquake to finish it. I outspeed a Snorlax and its defense isn't great, so I actually do quite a bit with Earthquake before I go down. I use Cyndaquil to get in 2 Leers, then I switch to Noctowl to put it to sleep, but I get paralyzed before I hit Hypnosis, so that kinda sucks. Thankfully I don't get fully paralyzed, so 2 takedowns finish it. And last is Charizard, but I only have Bayleaf and Totodile left. I decided to just take the risk and use Totodile, and oh my god, Flamethrower does less than half. He doesn't crit, so I win the battle after 2 more Surfs. And that's finally it. Pokemon Gold with only Ash's team. I have to say, this run was really weird. The majority of the game was really easy, and then Lance was just this huge brick wall, and then the red fight was literally down to the wire. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to subscribe and let me know any future video ideas you have. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all later.